If you're around me for any discernible length of time, you'll notice that I give people titles, often based on if I have a level of respect for them, or in some cases a lack thereof, which I might not use a title so much. But let me explain what I mean. Oftentimes, I'll refer to men as sir or mister. Oftentimes, women, even young ladies, even girls, I'll refer to them as ma'am or miss or missus. And that's something intentional that I do. And to keep it simple, it's a sign of respect. That never goes out of style. Referring to a guy as sir, or referring to a lady as ma'am or missus, or by proper titles is never going to go out of style. See, and I teach that to my children, and I carry myself that way. You show respect from somebody from the first words out of your mouth towards them. None of this calling somebody bro or bruh or these titles that we like to use nowadays to people that we don't know intimately, that people that haven't earned our respect, and vice versa, we haven't earned their respect. So to go and to call somebody out of their name when you don't know them is just completely unacceptable. What you can do on the opposite range, and really it goes a long way of showing that you have regard and appreciation for someone, is to call them sir or ma'am or madam, things of that nature. And again, not referring to them as bro or buddy or bro when you don't know who they are. The first impression is very important. I think that's kind of gone by the wayside nowadays. And that's something that we really need to teach our children, and we need to instill in our families. Proper titles. Going a little further into that, I hear more often than I should kids referring to their parents or their elders, whether in their family or out of their family, by their first name or something completely out of their name. And that is just completely unacceptable. You can say I'm old school or out of touch, but it never goes out of style, and it makes perfect sense. I'm a 40-year-old man. If an 8-year-old person's coming up to me and calling me Daniel or calling me some nickname out of their mouth, especially if I don't know them and it's clearly not a joke or it's in jest, that's disrespectful. It's wrong, and they need to be corrected on that. If anything, worst case scenario, you call me sir, and I'm not going to reject it and be like, oh, I don't want to be called sir. My dad was called sir. I can't stand that, by the way. I'm just going to say that. When older people say, oh, that was my dad, don't call me sir. They try to bring themselves down to a kid level. Sir, you're 62 years old. Stop it. If I call you sir, it's a sign of respect. It's that I respect you as my elder, not that I'm calling you an old man. Which, by the way, what's wrong with that? I'm 40 years old and I'm glad for it. I'm glad to be 40. I'm glad that I didn't pass away at 20 or 30, that the Lord has let me continue to fulfill his purposes to the best of my ability and continue to have this life and to have years with my children, years with my wife, and continue to do things and grow and reach further in my potential. So I'm glad for every year. I'm glad for every day that I get, which is not promised or guaranteed to me. So if I make it to age 50, 60, 70, and so on and so forth, and the Lord gives me healthy and vibrant years, I'm grateful for it. So if you call me sir, I appreciate that as a sign of wisdom, as a sign of discernment, as a sign of maturity. I'll take that every day. And then most importantly, which is my point at the beginning of this video, is a sign of respect. So what I'm trying to get at, my main point is, be mindful of the titles that you give people. Be mindful of the first impressions that you give towards people. I can tell just in my daily conversations, interactions, even if I'm going to the store or if I'm going somewhere and I open the door for somebody and I refer to them as sir or miss or madam, you can tell that goes a long way. They can tell this is a respectful gentleman. I feel respected and treated well. And who knows, that person might not have gotten that all day or in any reasonable amount of time that they can remember. because people are so used to calling them whatever comes out of their mouth. Probably something completely disrespectful. And for you to call them sir or ma'am instead of MF or some kind of cuss word or some kind of derogatory word like ho or BITC, whatever, that goes a long way. That's the kind of thing we need to get back to in our culture, in our society. Signs of respect, putting proper titles on people's names. Another thing that I want to say about that, if you have earned a particular title, such as doctor, again, it's your own thing, but if you had gone to school all them years, paid all that tuition, done all that residency, you've gotten a doctorate, and you tell people, oh, just call me Joe, or just call me Ted, or what. that's idiotic. Yes, I'm saying that to people that have doctorates, but if you have a doctorate and you don't want people to call you doctor because you're trying to be more relatable, stop it. Just stop it. You didn't spend all that time in medical school. You didn't spend all that time defending your thesis, writing your dissertation, to be called Brad or to be called Mary or something like that. Can we stop with this? Can we stop with this whole idea that everyone is on equal levels in terms of, yes, we're all sinners saved by grace. We're all created in God's image. But this whole idea that people have earned titles and credentials, they have wisdom and experience, and then we just call them these things, these titles that just lump them in with everybody else. Again, not your bro, kid. Young man, I am sir or mister. Or, you can call me, if you're of age and you're a fellow adult, you can call me Daniel. You can call me my actual name and not some made up nickname or something that you call your little friends. It's out of pocket. I probably talked way too long about this particular subject, but it does make a difference. We need to get back again to first impressions mattering, to titles mattering, to positions mattering. And by the way, real good honorable positions. I can't stand it. I get a lot of emails, for work, for other reasons. And people put all these letters in front of their name that I have no idea what they mean. Other than PhD and MD, which are the basic ones that people name. People put all these credentials and letters, and I have no idea what they mean. They don't give me any sort of status or knowledge or credentialing. I look at them and I think to yourself, you did some kind of online certification course that took you 30 minutes. And now you want to tack something else on the end of your name that people don't know what it means. Just Mr. or Mrs., sir and ma'am. Enough with all this outlandish stuff. And by the way, as long as we're on the topic, enough with all these wild pronouns. You're not a they. You're not a they, them. You're just one person. Unless you've got some kind of dissociative identity disorder or you got multiple personalities, then we need to talk. And maybe we need to get some help. But let's keep it simple. Sir or ma'am. I've talked way too much about that topic, but trust me, the words, it makes a difference. How you refer to people and how do you even refer to yourself makes a difference. Let's all have some respect for each other and let's have some respect for ourselves. All right? God bless you guys. Peace.